Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's the one and only Jay Stein checking in with you with the post-market Friday edition of this YouTube thing that I do. Look, guys, there's a lot to cover. A lot went on this week. We can't go into all of it. If you've been paying attention, then you already know what I'm talking about. And for the very few people that have been watching these videos, A, please subscribe. B, you definitely know what I'm talking about. Now, today, quite a few things happened. Oil jumped back up. We ended up closing 61.50. That's pretty much 2.5%, and that was in direct relation to a military attack from Yemen onto Saudi Arabia and Saudi Aramco oil facilities. So that drove the price back up above that $60 mark. So it depends on how you work on that. In terms of how you play oil and gas, I normally am very cautious with it, although I come from the industry. The instrument that I trade with it, though, is extremely risky, so I have to be very, very careful with it. But thus far, I'm okay in it, so we're good. Now, it looked like the banks, or it looked like everything was turning around until the Fed basically came out and said, hey, we're going to just keep inflating. And the banks all took a dump, but it was only really the banking sector. So the rest of the S&P was able to hold up against it for the most part. It didn't run, but it didn't tank either. So I did make another play. Actually, I made two more plays. One in the technology field and then one in the 3D printing field. Basically with tech's been getting slammed. It has been, and it basically tagged what I was hoping to see as a support level coming into today, hence why I bought it. It did dip below it, but very, very, very slightly, and the conditions going into next week, I can see it turning around. People like tech. They think it's the next greatest thing. And I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that because other people are thinking it and they're hopefully going to buy it. So barring that we don't see some crazy stuff over the weekend and on Monday, I'm hoping to see the overall markets do well, thus taking technology sector with it. Now, in terms of inflation, of course, okay, they came out, they said that on Wednesday. Thursday, markets tried to digest it. Today, everybody was kind of freaking out. So they bring out Federal Reserve, Thomas Birkin. And this dude literally said they have absolutely they're not going to raise interest rates until market conditions and economic conditions are met. And by that, he means full employment and 2% inflation. Yeah. So pretty much each week, we're getting hundreds of thousands of people filing for new unemployment. Okay. Inflation in all rights and respects is well above 2%. It's more like 6%. That's being conservative. And the market will get spoofed. I mean, we saw how easily the retail investors were able to spike up worthless stocks like they did a couple weeks ago, a month ago, GameStop, AMC, whatever. So the retailers get scared. So when the big banks say, hold on, we got an issue here, all of a sudden, the Fed's gonna turn the spigot off. Well, once that starts to happen, we're gonna see big blocks start selling off, which will create a cascade effect of the retail investors, and then that could literally cause massive problems in the entire market. So they need to, float out these, Federal Reserve presidents, everything's okay, everything's going to be fine, we're going to keep giving you money, and everything's going to be okay. So they do that to keep everybody, at bay. Now, Treasury bonds they basically stayed the same. They fluctuated a little bit On the close, we're sitting at 1,725, which compared to yesterday, like normally I would say that's really high, but it's not anymore. My red zone in terms of the 10-year is at 1.8. Once it hits that, I think we're going to have some problems. But if we can keep it below that for the time being, given the rest of the market sentiment and conditions, I think we'll be okay. If it goes past that, we got problems. So the VIX was down. It was down significantly earlier, but it actually crept back up, and it only closed at 3% down, which is right at pretty much, we'll call it $21, which is okay. That's okay, but the fact that it did spike up is always a slight concern. Oil, of course, with that attack, we're looking at another 2.5% up. The dollar pretty much flat, slightly up. That's to be expected. There was no earnings to note. I mean, we already talked about Nike. We talked about FedEx. I mean, the only thing, if you want to talk about something, it's not even really earnings related, is Visa and how they're being pretty much investigated and whatnot. Bitcoin is sitting right at 59,000, which is good for me, and I hope it's good for you too. Anyway, so there have been a few people that have been watching the video. Thank you. And I'm thinking about if you want to do a Zoom call later and we can bounce some ideas around, because, you know, everybody has knowledge to teach everybody, and I am definitely not Mr. Know-It-All. So I'd love to hang out. It's Friday. So if you want to do a Zoom call, put it in the comments. We'll make it happen. Otherwise, guys, please subscribe. You know, I mean, really, I'm going to make a point to say this every video now. Please subscribe. It's easy. You know, you click the button, and everybody says that on every video. They're like, oh, so please subscribe. No, but I mean, like, seriously, it's for my self-esteem. Okay, it makes me feel better. You know, it comes up on the topic of when I'm talking to my freaking therapist, you know, and I'm like, nobody will subscribe to my channel. And she's like, everything's going to be fine. Your channel's not that important. And I'm like, I know it's not important, but still, please subscribe. Like I said, it will make me feel better. Otherwise, guys, I will definitely see you on Monday. If anything comes up over the weekend, I'll try to holler about it. Otherwise, happy Friday, happy weekend, and we'll talk to you Monday.